okay, you brought up COVID briefly. You got married during COVID. Like a pandemic. You
like in the midst of it.
And you didn't reschedule, you didn't push anything back. So what was that like for you?
It was insane.
I bet.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, any COVID bride, I feel you. I get it. Yeah, so our wedding was March 21st of 2020. So we were the first weekend of the pandemic. So we, I mean, literally a week prior to the wedding, we had, thought everything was going to happen. I mean, we had 205 people coming to our wedding, and it was, a week away, and everything was like fine. And then as soon as everything kind of started trickling in, they were, the restrictions, kind of kept getting tighter and tighter. And that was at the time when there was like Saturday was 250 guests that you could have. And we're like, okay, we're at 205, and then plus the caterers. Okay, we're okay. Mm-hmm. Then Sunday was 50 guests, and that's when things got crazy. And then we took a quick shot of tequila. And
yes,
like,
as you should.
Yeah. We're going to just keep on. Like, it was very, like, it was shock, right? And then Monday, and Sunday was hard because if you think about it, 50 people is tough because you have your bridesmaids, you have the groomsmen, you have your family, you have your extended family, and you're like, who out of this should be here, right? 50 people is hard.
Yeah.
10 people happened on Monday, so only have 10 people.
Gosh.
Ironically, it was easier. 10
really?
people is easier.
Sure.
Because, you and your husband are 2. So you only have 8 people left. Well, we needed a photographer, and we wanted our pastor, so that's 2 more. So we only have 4, or that's 4 people, and we only have 6 people left. So it's easier in a way, but don't get me wrong. I mean, it was extremely difficult, and it was pretty heartbreaking. I think we were just in shock and just trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. And I mean, at that point, we didn't have we couldn't invite anybody, I mean, it was very, very small. So it's that just, we had to send out a mass, email, or not email, it was we had to text every single person, 205 people.
My God.
So we had to text everybody and let them know that it wasn't happening. And so we, our biggest thing was that we were going to get married that weekend. We just felt no, we are not letting this
I love
moment.
that.
Yeah, we just couldn't. I mean, we were we thought about it, we considered it, and we're but I shouldn't even say we considered it, because we didn't. We kind of just were we were listening to other people's thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you should just postpone it to next year at this time. And which is funny, because here we are a year later, and we're nope, same thing. But, but we were just we just need to get married. This, our love and our marriage is what's most important. Mm-hmm. Yes, I would love to have all my people there, but I'm not going to postpone my marriage just to have a party, right? That's just not, some people may, and that's okay, but that's just not how I and my husband felt about it. And so we went forward, and we went and got married that weekend, but it was a really scary moment because we didn't even know, if we were waking up that morning, if we could get married, because we didn't know if we could even leave the house, because that was at the time when things were getting truly locked down.
For sure.
It was before masks. We didn't have, masks weren't a thing. We were, true almost going into, lockdown. So we didn't even know if it was going to be, legal to be out. But thankfully, everybody that we had been safe and had been kind of quarantined a little bit. And we just had 3 witnesses, and we had the photographer, and she, thankfully, she was actually our videographer, and she does photo too. Mm-hmm. And our photographer, who we were supposed to have, had just gotten back from Hawaii.
Okay.
So she had to quarantine. So our photographer, or videographer, did both photo and video for us.
Oh my God.
So she had an assistant, and then we had our pastor, and that's it. So it was our families couldn't even be there. Tyler's sister was there. She was in the city, so she was there, but that's it, And it was just a really surreal moment. I mean, I didn't wear my dress.
Your outfit though was unreal. It was so freaking cute.
So cute.
If there's any way to do what you guys did, that is what I would do, because it was unreal.
And you guys were featured in the Knot, so it must have been really cool.
There was lots of it was weird, because it was we had no idea if we're doing the right thing or how we're doing it. And the funny thing about that outfit is that I for those who don't know, I was wearing a white sequin blazer and some jeans, dark jeans and heels, and my husband was in a sport coat and some jeans. So very casual, but my sequin blazer, I actually bought it for the reception. Not the reception, the rehearsal dinner.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Bought it for the rehearsal dinner, and I bought it months earlier. and I tried it on, and I actually didn't like it on me.
Really?
So I was trying to send it. I was
Wow.
trying to send it back, and I couldn't because I was past the time, and so I was trying to sell it to other brides.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. So then here we get to this week, and it's still in my closet, and I look at my closet, and I'm like, well, it looks like I'm wearing this. And so it was so funny because it actually was perfect. I mean, it was
Perfect.
so cold that day, so it was a perfect jacket, but then it also it photographed so beautifully.
Yes.
And so it was actually I wouldn't have worn anything else.
It was meant to be.
It was so meant to be, but I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I was trying to sell that thing. So it was so busy, but I'm it worked out beautifully. And yeah, I mean, our wedding got picked up by the Knot and by brides and just all these big wedding wire and all these big companies. And it was put in a couple different Knot magazines, which was just so unexpected.
Yeah.
I was like, our
So
little wedding.
neat.
I'm like, what?
But it was so
it was
cute.
really cool. Yeah.
It's so cute. We'll have to share it on
Yeah.
our Instagram because the photos are beautiful. Your photographer did amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
And it just you can see how happy you two are in such a tough moment, I'm sure. I mean, a really hard moment that you had planned since, we all plan our wedding when we're little girls. And you have that idea, and that was not probably what you expected.
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful, the
Yes,
photos I've seen at least.
Yeah.
We were so just happy, and it was just a really, really joyful moment. For one moment, we all of us, I mean, including our, our pastor said it, our photographer said it, everybody was just I forgot that this whole thing, the world is crumbling around us. We all forgot about it. We had cake, we had Coronas, of course, we had
Oh my gosh, funny.
So we had all those things, and it was just we went back to my sister-in-law's, and we had pizza and some margaritas, and it was just it was perfect.
Oh,
it was so
that's
chill,
amazing.
and it was a moment that it was not it was imperfectly perfect, and it's something that we didn't even know that we needed, but at the end of the day, love does win if you let it, and so it's that was a moment where I'm so glad that we chose our love and our marriage versus the uncertainty of everything else. You know, that just was one thing that was this is for sure. We are getting married. So
That gives me goosebumps.
It's
Almost
so-
gonna bring tears to
Yes,
my
I
eyes,
know, it's so sweet.
Thank you.
That's
And
an
you
incredible
guys
story.
did end up having a celebration.
Yeah, the celebration was great. It was certainly even more COVID-y than the first one.
Really?
Yeah, it really
Wow.
was. It was a crazy, crazy time. And honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think we really needed it.
Sure.
I think I felt like I needed it more than anything. I mean, I picked out my dress. I've been thinking about walking down the aisle with my dad forever and getting ready with my mom and, having our family picture. I've thought about that and I wanted that forever. But, there was a lot of money that was invested that we, if we could only not lose it if we used it versus
Right.
Okay, we're just not going to do it. And now we are out thousands and thousands of dollars. So we did it. But it was tough because at that time, now that was going into May, we actually had postponed that celebration, and it was supposed to be in Minnesota, the celebration to the weekend of the 4th of July.
Sure.
And so we get to Memorial Weekend a month earlier, and the restrictions in Minnesota were just tough, and it was I don't think this is actually going to happen. And the only thing that they were allowing us to do was to have a ceremony. But we're we're not going to have a ceremony because we're already married.
We've done
right? We've already done that.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that. So last minute, a month before the wedding, we moved our wedding to Fargo. And we decided we had to change some vendors who those who couldn't make it, drive all that way, from Minneapolis. And we had our celebration here, and it was beautiful. I mean, our first wedding was very cold. Very cold. I've never been that cold in my life. So it was the hottest day.
Oh my gosh,
the
of
hottest
course.
day. It was 97 degrees. There was no wind. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was beautiful, but it was scorching hot. And then my husband, poor Tyler, he was wearing a wool suit because he had got it for March, right?
No.
Yeah. And so he is sweating. I mean, he probably lost 30 pounds in sweater. I felt so bad for him, but it was beautiful. I mean, it was a time that we got to have that moment. And have the family picture and have I guess really it was like the closest of our friends, like our friends and some family, but mostly for our best friends that were there. And it was beautiful because we were able to have time to celebrate. And it was, we had already been in this pandemic for, since the early March to now it's, end of July or middle of July that we're like, okay, feels so good to just like even see your face. How are you?
Right.
So that was wonderful, but it was tough because you're really, and this is where I feel for the COVID brides, even now that you're really having to think about everybody versus like just yourself. So you're not just thinking like, well, this is what I want because of XYZ reason. Like you're really thinking about how am I putting them in a tough spot? Am I like, are they making this decision of coming only because of me? Like, well, what if, there's a case that happens and people get sick? Like, I don't want them to get sick because of us and because of, this situation, and people want to support us, but you want to make sure that people, are comfortable and happy. So it's just like you go back and forth and it's hard. I mean, it's a really tough decision of like, do we have this wedding or not? And for us, we were just like, if we don't do it now, like when? Like, I mean, we're already married. We're not going to do it at a 1-year anniversary. I mean, some people do, and that is totally fine. It was just for us, like we had already, been engaged since like a year and a half earlier. And we were just like, I just want to be married,
like,
I just want to
past it.
I just want to move past this and start our life. And so thankfully we got to have it. We had 60 some people there of our closest friends. We had margaritas, we had gelato. It was super awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was great. So it was like, I'm glad that we're done with it.
Yeah. Put it behind you.
Yeah, I think I'm like, we can never get divorced because that was we're not getting married. I'm not getting remarried. He's like, I know me either. I can't plan another wedding. I'm like, yeah, so
too many variables. That was too stressful.
Way too many variables. Yeah.
Well, in that, but again, going back to what you were talking about with what you learned from Vikings, being put in uncomfortable situations.
Yes,
I mean, it's really cool because talk about uncomfortable, like how difficult, and I'm sure a lot of what you took from being on Vikings probably subconsciously played into some of those decisions. And we want to talk about your experience within your corporate. So you just left your job, but you were working at Ever Eve corporate, which Paige and I are obsessed with Ever Eve.
Love Ever Eve. It's amazing.
Yes.
So, okay, I actually don't know. Is this just Midwest or is it nationwide?
Nationwide.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's
huge.
Unreal.
Yeah, there's like 90 plus, almost 100 stores nationwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you get hooked up with that?
Yeah, it was really random actually. So where I lived in Minneapolis while I was in Vikings was really close to the old home office for Ever Eve. So the corporate office, we call it the home office. And it was really close to it. So I was driving by one day and I was like, what's that? And so I was looking for something kind of more on the part-time side with Vikings, that flexibility. And Ever Eve was there. And so I started in their warehouse. I did their e-com fulfillment and then their Trendsend fulfillment, which is a styling service. So I did kind of in that warehousey packing, orders and all that stuff. Loved it. It was perfect. I met amazing humans there. But then as soon as I had retired from Vikings, which would have been 2017 in February, I was looking for a full-time job. And so they ended up having an opening in the home office, and I started off with their operations team, so their accounting team, which is not my skill set. So bless their heart.
Fake it till you make it again.
Yes, we did. Online banking. Could do it. Don't want to do it. It doesn't bring me joy. Nope. So, but I did that. So I started with that team and kind of just helped assist them with things, which was amazing because at that time I didn't even know like what I wanted to do. So I was like, I'm in this corporate world. I see all these different teams and departments, but like I don't know what the best fit is for me. So I was being on the operations team was perfect, and I love a good process. So I really was. It was a good fit for me. Yeah. It was nice to kind of work that muscle a little bit. But then after like probably about 6 months, I had really like found the role of what I do now, but at the time it was the photo shoot and web content coordinator. So basically that I'm working with the shoot team, and I'm working with the product and the e-com website and getting everything shot and uploaded and all that kind of stuff.
So fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So someone,
so
the person who was doing it, I saw what she was doing, and I went to HR and I was like, if that ever opens up, I would totally do something like that, like something in that world, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just think that that's a really cool area of the business.
Yeah.
And so this is why you should always speak up for what you want and what you would love to do. Because about 3 months later is when she had let me know, like, hey, by the way, this person's moving into a different role. Like, this is available. So I applied for it, interviewed for it, and I ended up getting it. So
oh my gosh.
moved on to the creative team, and yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I've been with that team for like about 4 years, and I went from the photo shoot and web content coordinator to the photo shoot and styling coordinator to the associate producer.
Cool.
So that's where my role is now as I'm leaving it, and it's really just what that means is I'm in charge of really orchestrating every photo and video shoot. So making sure that the shoot is scheduled and that the people who need to be there know what time they need to be there, making sure that we have a shot list and knowing exactly what assets we need to get, knowing if the product is there, steamed, ready to go, is everybody fed? Is everybody is everybody okay? Do I need to do anything? And then after it's like that pre-production, that during production, and then also the post of just like, invoices being paid and making sure everybody's kind of taken care of in that aspect too. So a lot of like coordinating and like that kind of, it's that operations skills that came into play, and a good process and everything. But right now I really was focusing a lot on working with and I had over the years, it just kind of grew into that e-com website of making sure that all the product is uploaded. It's, if something's high priority, knowing that, letting the teams know, like I work a lot with like cross-functional teams, with our tech team of just making sure it's all working, it's there, our product is there, it's ready to be sold. We have, the models and how that's working, everything. So
That's
cool.
so fun.
That is like a dream job. Totally.
I totally agree.
So
awesome.
But you just had your last day.
I know. 2 days ago. It's so crazy.
Still fresh.
So
very
crazy.
fresh.
But tell us what's next for you.
Yeah. So, I have always loved beauty. I think I've always loved it because I remember I wanted to go in to be a dermatologist when I was like, senior in high school. And at that time, I didn't realize that you had to be a doctor to be a dermatologist. I thought you just could like go straight there. So then I quickly changed paths to fashion.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I was like, not for me. Not for me. But so I knew I'd always loved that thing, or that area of life, that industry. But I just didn't know that an esthetician was something. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it existed, or what that meant. So, and also the industry's changed so much too. So maybe it's even changed kind of how it's perceived these days versus 12 years ago.
Totally.
But I've wanted to go back to school for a really long time. I've been doing makeup for weddings for 9 years. So I'm like, I wanted to get licensed to do that, but because there was like some rules with like freelancing, and it's just, if you're not licensed, it just can kind of be a little tough sometimes of like what you can and can't do. But so I was like, I want to go back to school to be licensed. And so it's been in my head, but I've always been so busy with work. It was a very demanding time frame and schedule, and just like what I could and couldn't do. So I once COVID hit, I actually I got furloughed from my position.
Okay.
So I was on a pause. Yep, wasn't let go, but I was on a pause. So it's a really awkward space because you're like, I don't know if I'm going back. I don't know when I'm going back. I don't know what's in store for me. I don't know if my job's still going to be a job. So in that time, and I'm someone, as you guys can tell, I have always a million things going on. Like I just always have my plate really full. And so stopping for a lot of us last year was like, what am I doing with my life?
Worst.
Like just the worst, right? Like you're just sitting there, you're like, what am I supposed to do? I can't leave my house. And I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment with my husband, and he's working from home. I'm like, what am I doing? It was just, it was tough. And so, but it really, I'm happy for it. And I'm thankful for it because it allowed me to take a step back and think, what do I want to do with my life? And I think that I was having a hard time, I was having a hard time with like knowing that my future was in someone else's hands, on top of like the state of the world's hands, right? Like it wasn't just because of the employer, but it was also like because of the state of the world. But at the end of the day, it wasn't in my hands. And I didn't like that. And so I decided I'm going to go back to school. And so I registered for school in the summer, and I went back to work in August. So I was furloughed from April to August. So I still was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it work, even if I am working full time. And I started school in October, and I'll be done in a month. So in the middle of May. Yep. So
went fast.
It went fast.
Maybe not for you,
awesome.
but
it was not as it was good though. It did go fast. It for sure has. But I have been working like full time AM to PM because I've been doing school at nights and weekends.
Okay.
So like basically 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then weekends, 9 to 3. So it's just like it has been very intense, and I try to keep my focus, but I just have known, I walked into orientation where you like don't even do anything, it's orientation.
Yeah.
It was just like basically saying hello. And I already could tell. I'm like, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Me thinking I want to be a dermatologist. I was like, nope, this is actually
what I wanted.
Yep.
That's
In
awesome.
hindsight, I don't like needles. I'm not a medical person. That's my other side of it. My other family members are medical. I am not. I do not care for that. So I'm like, oh, this is the pretty,
the fun side.
Yeah. I was like, I can handle that.
and that complements the fashion really well too.
Yeah.
It does. So
It really does. It's a full it just like takes all of like the things that I've gone through and learned. Like I've always, I wanted to do a lot of things. I wanted to be a therapist at one point. So now I'm like gonna when I have facials, I get to talk to people and have that type of connection and relationship. And fashion, like makeup and beauty and just like helping women feel amazing in their skin is like men and women. Really, I have a lot of women, but really anybody feel amazing in their own skin and feeling confident and happy, especially in the world that we're living in, that everything just feels a little mundane at the moment. And so it's been really fun to have my hand in the industry. But starting, kind of now, I guess, because I'm newly into this world, but I'll be doing focusing on facials and lashes and brow waxing and of course makeup, but then I just added spray tans to my business.
Yes.
Lots of fun things. Yep, lots of things to come. So it'll be fun to just see like where it grows to. But I started my business with makeup, like I said, 9 years ago, Miss Motives, and I rebranded it now to Jordan Epping Beauty, and it's just gonna be so fun to just grow it into
wherever it
all
takes
the
you.
things. Yeah, I'm not even it just is like all good stuff, health and wellness and just feeling good and spray tans or maybe it's lash extensions. I don't even care. I'm like, whatever you need, I'll be here for you.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna see a lot of me.
Me too. I love it. Come on.
yeah, you are like. That's so up your alley.
Yes.
I know we just met, but you're going to be amazing at it.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to watch you grow that.
Thank you.
And I
appreciate
think,
it.
we've talked about a lot today, but I think the one thing that stands out a lot is that your priority is making other people feel really good. Whether it was putting on a great performance for Vikings or, being that person in the office to help produce these shoots and make sure, is everyone okay? Is everyone where they need to be? And now growing into this new role, which I know before we started recording, you kind of said, like, this is going to be my second life. Like, your goals are still staying the same. And it's really, really cool because we need more of that in our world.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
And kind of being more in charge of your life.
Yes.
And your career.
Yes.
Yeah. So fun.
Back in my hands.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
We love to see it, and we're so excited that you're going to be back in Fargo, so we can
too.
see more of you.
Yeah, so excited. Perfect timing. I'm so excited. I love my gals in the cities, and I am hoping I can still kind of make trips back and forth every month or so. But my home is Fargo, and I'm so excited to just dive into all things beauty here and just be reconnected. I came here for college and to just be back, but it's bigger now and there's more things.
It's so different.
It's so different in the best way.
So different too. You
Yeah.
know?
They're so different. Yeah. So it'll just be so fun to dive on in and to see you guys.
We can't wait. We can't
so
wait.
excited.
Thank you.
All right.
So we have a fun game.
We have one
gonna
last
be
thing
fun.
for you.
Okay. I'm ready.
So we wrote down a few questions.
I'm ready.
So this is going to be kind of we played this on another episode and we just had so much fun with it. It's how would you proceed? So we're going to put you in these scenarios because you have done so much. We feel like you have some wisdom that you can share.
Okay.
And kind of on a couple different areas. Too.
Okay.
So, all right. You show up to a game without your uniform and you miss the first quarter. How do you proceed?
never show your face again.
Just turn around and don't even go.
Yeah, no. I mean, in that situation, I think the only thing you can do is be straight up honest. Like, this is my mistake. You own it, and you're just like, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to do my best. But yeah, be there for your team in the best way possible. But I don't know if you go back.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
That gave me like straight anxiety. I'm like, no.
I totally agree.
You hope that your husband will like go and get your uniform for you immediately.
Yes. Yeah. Does someone have an extra? Is that
literally?
A thing? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. You get asked to do makeup for the show Toddlers and Tiaras. How do you proceed?
Ooh. I would probably do it, but I would probably do it in a way that would be very light-handed.
Yes.
Because I just feel like
I love that.
dance world, if you're in the dance world, makeup's involved. It's involved from when you're really young to when you're, a Viking cheerleader. Makeup's all the things.
Yep.
I mean, it's performance, right? It's like you're getting dressed up. But I think that there's a level of just there's a borderline where I think that it doesn't need to go beyond, and I think that you can still do what you need to do on a more light-handed touch.
That is a perfect answer.
That's a great answer.
I don't know if I would take on that challenge.
I don't think that.
I'm like, opportunities, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know. Maybe I should be like,
No, that's good. That's good. That was perfect.
That's a good answer. Okay, so you're doing wedding party makeup and you forget all of your foundation and concealer. How do you proceed?
Well, I'm somebody who's going to think of how can we make this work? I always think of how can I make it work. So whether it's using different products to make a different product, using different brushes to make, to do different things. But if it's in that type of way, I would call all the people I know. Use their connections. I would, if I forgot something on the way, I would try to stop anywhere possible to get something. I mean, a lot of it is like your skill of how you're doing something. So if I could stop even at a Walgreens, like I'll grab whatever I can grab to make something happen. But I mean, I always think of like, how can I make this work? So like, okay, that's not going to work. What's our backup plan? Like I always have to think in that way because where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep. For sure.
We're going to make something work, whether it's, I need to run somewhere else and grab something or I need to call 7,000 people to see what they can drop off.
We are finding a way.
We will find a way. I do not give up. I will make it work. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. All right. The Knot asks you to recreate your wedding for a third time so that they can do an article on you. How do you proceed?
I mean, I love a good photo shoot. So Tyler would probably be mad at me, but I'd be like,
we're doing it.
I love a good photo shoot. I love pictures and dressing up, but I think if it's like, to what extent are we recreating? Because in the same sense, it's not trying to recreate a moment. Like if it's a photo shoot that we're playing dress up, I'm totally happy with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But recreating a moment from like, let's just say I had to put on my sequin blazer again, like I probably likely won't actually wear that again just because it's like that's a moment I want things to be very sacred and like what that moment was. So like if I'm going to do something, it would be like completely different or like I said, playing dress up because there's just some things that you don't touch.
That need to be kept in the time that they were.
In the time, in the moment, in the space, but and it'll never be the same. I don't like to do a lot of things like multiple times in that type of situation because it was so perfect as it was that like you just
can't recreate it.
But if it's a photo shoot and they wanted to play dress up,
sign me up.
I love it. I'll have to probably pay him to do it, but it's okay.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Okay, so you get offered your dream job, but it requires you to move all the way across the country to China. How do you proceed?
I think it's very possible. I would say yes. One of my best friends, I mean, she's in Japan, so we're like kind of closer. I mean,
my gosh!
So, that was my first friend in Viking. So I would love to be closer to her.
Yeah.
Wow. I think there's, I think that there's ways to still like live our lives without feeling in just like total fear. And I just think that, if something ever, I mean, even moving to Fargo, I mean, it's like, things get kind of tossed in our direction. I mean, we really thought we were not moving. And we actually just had decided that until this opportunity got brought up of moving. And I just think that there's so many opportunities, and I personally believe that everything happens for a reason. So I would think really long and hard, but if I chose to move there, I know there's a reason for it. And so I don't want to live, I will be very safe and very cautious, but I just refuse to like live in fear right now. So if that's
love
something,
that.
I love that.
keep on cruising, just wear your mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right. If you had to give up your guilty pleasure, so whether it's coffee, wine, something you can't live without, for a full year, but if you succeed, you have a 50-50 chance of getting $10,000 at the end of the year. Could you do it?
I would say I could do it.
Yeah?
I think so. Yeah. It would probably be tough, but I think I could do it because a couple of years ago I had to cut out dairy. So
that is hard.
It's hard.
I've tried it for like a week and did not succeed.
And I have not had, I don't eat dairy, and that's been for like probably 2 years, and that was kind of on my own, just deciding that like I don't think it's like best for my system. So like, but I also love queso. I love cheese. I love pizza. I love like, ice cream, of course. So like all the things. So I'm like, I think I could do it because I think my willpower, when it comes to like stuff like that, I think I could do it pretty well. But like, I feel like 10,000, it's like, I want it to be like a little bit more for that.
And it's a 50-50 chance too.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
I'd have to counter offer.
I want to up that ante a little bit.
It depends. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you're backpacking in Europe and you could only bring 2 beauty products with you. What would those be?
Ooh, for sure sunscreen.
Amen.
For sure. I'm so happy you said that.
Sunscreen.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to keep the skin looking good. We do not need any like sun damage. You guys, that's 90% of our aging is sun damage. So yes, sunscreen.
You are preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
We are sunscreen girls.
I love that. But I think my second one, where am I at? Backpacking in Europe?
Yep.
It would probably honestly be another skincare item just because I feel like I don't necessarily need mascara. Who am I seeing? I love a good brow, so I'd bought like one of my brows, but I think I'd have to do like some type of like serum or something just to really, that's like 2 things. Like I have a serum concentrate that I use every day and sunscreen. So I'm like, I just think I would have to stick with that. But if I did pick like a makeup item, it would probably be either like my brows or like just a quick little brow, gel or like chapstick. Like not a chapstick, but like a balm. Not a chapstick because that kind of dries my lips out, but like a balm of some sort.
That's a good point. I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Nice.
Last one. Your boss is caught in a horrible scandal and she has selected you to help clear her name. How do you proceed?
Oh boy. I feel like I would want to help because I'm someone that would want to help. So I'd probably say yes. And I think I would just want to figure out how to stay neutral.
Yes.
Like I don't want to go down the spiral.
Yep.
But how to just like keep things like neutral and just like, we're going to make this work, but we're going to like, whether you have to just like come clean, you know what I mean? Like, what does that mean, come clean? We're just going to be honest. I can't lie to save my life. So like, if you just like come clean about it.
That's a good quality.
It's like kind of stressful because I like sometimes you just like want to save my life. No, I can't. I physically can't. So it's like, you just got to like come clean about it or whatever. But like, I want to say like, I don't like getting into drama.
Yes.
And so like, if I'm going to help somebody out, it would have to be like very thoughtful.
Let's do this without digging ourselves another hole.
We do not need other holes. This is not good. Abort mission.
Those were good answers.
Those are really good.
And we gave her no prep on those.
No prep. And now I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm thinking about my 50-50 shot of giving up my favorite thing. And I'm like, you know what? We could die tomorrow. We're doing the thing. We're not. It's only 50-50.
That's the thing. It's hard.
No, I think we would just have to live our lives, to be honest. Like, if I had to give up margaritas, I'd be like...
sad.
I just don't think I'd be like, this is for my mental health. So my mental health is more important. So you're right. No, yeah,
not taking the deal.
Not taking the deal. No deal. Not even a counter. No, my mental health is more important.
Way more important.
The margaritas always win.
They always win.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
This has been so fun.
So fun. Thank you guys.
So dang fun.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You are incredible, and it was so fun to just get to talk about such a wide range of things, and I'm sure we need to have you back once you get acquainted back in Fargo, because you're gonna have, I'm sure, a whole nother ball game of things.
I'm sure we will have so much to talk about, because I feel like we could talk for hours. But yes, I would love that. That'd be so fun.
Good. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on social. On Instagram, it's jordan.epping, E-P-P-I-N-G. And I have a Facebook page too, Jordan Epping Beauty, and my website, jordanepping.com. But social is fun right now. You can find me on Instagram, and it's growing that page is a few. So just happy stuff, happy, joyful stuff. That's what you're going to find from me.
Love it.
Yeah, your energy has been so great.
Yeah.
This is the perfect Sunday bag.
Totally.
This is a perfect Sunday vibe.
Yeah. It's been fun. Well, cheers to Sunday. Thank you so much.